It's go time, baby. The playoffs for the NHL are looming, and even though the fantasy hockey season is winding down, there is so much to cover from around the world of hockey, which is why the Friday edition of the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast has you covered with everything you need to know. MacKinnon out, Cappy, Eriksson Ek making noise with the Wild, and what is going on with this Eastern Conference playoff picture. We'll cover it all and get this paper.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back inside the lab to your daily 30-minute source for all things hockey, bets, and fantasy takes. It's the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, and I'm joined, as always, by my distinguished co-host. It's Loki's Papa. It's Mr. Steele, Rodin, and on this side of the microphone, it's your boy, Big Flip Livingstone, holding it down for the everydayers, making us your first listen every single day. We see you, we appreciate you, and we wouldn't be doing the pod without you guys. Today's episode brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new customers to FanDuel get $200. Actually, Steele, that's $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager hits. Now, Nathan MacKinnon, we have to speak about it. This is huge potentially for the Colorado Avalanche, but also what a tough hurdle to clear, Steele, for so many GMs out there that have clearly relied on this player, and now, right at the clinch time, you're going to have to be without him. I think I'm going to throw out a few names that could perhaps help you fill that hole. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Wild. Steele bubbling at the tizop to talk about his second favorite team, and we'll talk about both of our favorite teams. After the break, before big-time bets, that Eastern Conference playoff picture, Devs and Canes going toe-to-toe, and who are the Leafs better suited to face? We'll break it all down, Mr. Rodin. Over to you, Nathan MacKinnon, Mac Daddy. What do you think about this situation? Looks like he's out until playoffs.
Yeah, he's missing the game against the Vancouver Canucks on Thursday last night, with the potential of missing the last two regular season games for the Colorado Avalanche with an undisclosed injury. So obviously, if you have Nathan MacKinnon, if you're in, the championship round of your fantasy hockey league, or if you're battling out for that third place as well, you're going to have to look at some options without Nathan MacKinnon in the lineup. And this is my take on this. And I want to, connect this to the Hart Trophy Award, the Hart Trophy race right now. I am absolutely appalled by the current favorite in the current odds for the top four players right now. I have no idea why Leon Draisaitl is the favorite at minus 180. And then you have Nikita Kucherov and Nathan MacKinnon at plus 3,000. At plus 3,000. They're not even, to me, that doesn't make any sense. Whoa. You have Connor Hellebuck in second at plus 140. To me, it's embarrassing. I'm appalled by the numbers I'm looking at right now. And okay. I understand that all four of those players are having incredible seasons right now. And by all means, Leon Draisaitl could be the favorite. But to have Kucherov and MacKinnon, who are both leading the league at 115, 116 points, the disrespect to have them at plus 3,000, it doesn't make any sense to me. This is a way closer race than these numbers are providing right now. I think, to me, again, Nathan MacKinnon's the best hockey player in the world. He deserves to be at least better than plus 3,000 right now.
That is very interesting. Here's my take on this, because I didn't know you were going to throw this at me, and I love it absolutely. Leon Draisaitl minus 180 seems very steep. It also, to me, though, is finally the betting world, and maybe we're paying attention to what the Hart Trophy is. Most valuable to the team. And I know you'll say if you take away Leon Draisaitl, you still have Connor McDavid in Edmonton. It hasn't been the same Connor McDavid this year, so perhaps this is that angle. But it doesn't make sense that it's plus 3,000 for MacKinnon and Kucherov. I totally agree with you. Connor Hellebuck at plus 140 is bringing a ton of value to me. Steele at minus 180 for Leon Draisaitl. That comparison, if we're going down a well. However, Nathan MacKinnon here, Colorado Avalanche. We just spoke about what it could mean for the Landeskog angle coming back.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw this out there and, tell me if I'm crazy. First of all, replacing him right now, fantasy-wise, I would say tap into waiver wire Monday. Boone Jenner is out there. Logan Cooley is a somewhat decent option. Morgan Geeky we've thrown out there. It's not pretty right now. You're going to have to almost get lucky. Whatever you think, go with it, because we can't give you any advice on trying to replace Nathan MacKinnon with 5 games left or whatever it is for the Avs, 2 or 3 games left. So there's that, but there's also this. Could a couple of games here for this player, and I know Jared Bednar is being cloak and dagger with this classic NHL at this time of the season, but let's say it is somewhat minor. There has been a lot of miles on this player's body, Stanley Cup runs and otherwise. Could this perhaps be a bit of a good thing for this Nathan MacKinnon situation? Like maybe 3 days of rest down the stretch might be huge come playoffs. I don't know if I'm crazy there, but that's an angle that immediately popped into my head, and I want to just leave it at this, Steele. When you're talking about the MVP, you're talking about the Hart Trophy race, I guess the 180 and the other numbers are, they're somewhat shocking. But to me, Leon Draisaitl very much deserves to be in that conversation. However, this is crunch time. This is really going to be interesting to see how the Colorado Avalanche manage this missing Nathan MacKinnon.
Yeah, well, first of all, when do you not come on the podcast and are not crazy? That's number one. Second of all, Nathan MacKinnon, to miss the last 3 games, it's not going to make a difference in the long run, in the short run. I mean, there's 3 games left in the season. Colorado Avalanche have pretty much solidified their spot at number 3. The Dallas Stars and Jets have a game in hand on them. They played last night, so that could be a favorite for Connor Hellebuck in this Hart Trophy race as well, if he can get that win on the road over the Dallas Stars. But yeah, I mean, it's good to get him rested. Again, if he's injured, obviously you sit him. Even at this point in the season, we've seen it a few times across the league where the last game or two, the superstar sits out just for resting purposes and just to get ready for the playoff picture. He's not going to lose his touch. It's the best player in the world, Nathan MacKinnon. So if he is injured, sit him for the remainder of the regular season, the last 3 games. If he's not injured, sit him for the last 3 games anyways and get him focused and prepared and rested for the first round of the playoffs.
Likely also means an Art Ross trophy for Mr. Nikita Kucherov. We'll talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning after the break. We'll get to bets. We'll also talk about the Devs and Canes. Over to you, though, quickly, before we get to this first break. Kaprizov back, Eriksson Ek back. An absolutely wild one, no pun intended, the other night, Steele. I really didn't mean to do that. I'm really sorry. I know I come on this podcast and do crazy things. Hit me with your take here. This is a different team with Kaprizov. This is a fact. This isn't a bold take. It's obvious. Are we getting a little bit overexcited, ahead of ourselves? Hit me with what you're seeing here. What's your take on that game? Because that was clearly a fun one if you're a Wild fan.
That was a weird one. It was 2-1 after the first period, and then all hell broke loose, and it finishes 8-7 in overtime. And I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to throw some stats out there. Eric Heck, first game back, 4 goals, 2 on the power play, plus 2, 8 shots on net, 4 hits. Kaprizov, 2 goals, 1 assist, 9 shots. Boldy, 4 assists, 4 shots, 2 points on the power play. This is exactly what I was talking about, the changing of dynamic with Eriksson Ek and Kaprizov back in the lineup. It just shines so much positivity in the offensive zone. Marco Rossi was in on the action, Jared Spurgeon on the action, Boldy with the 4 assists tonight. Obviously, we're not going to talk about what happened defensively because it was just a complete, you know what I'm about to say. It was complete chaos out there.
It rhymes with pit show. It rhymes with pit show.
That's exactly what it rhymes with. So this is what they're capable of doing and changing the dynamic offensively for this team. In the last 39 games, the Wild have only scored more than 4 goals 3 times. That's how necessary they need those 2 players in the lineup. They need them healthy. They're back. What a splash they made in the return against the San Jose Sharks. Also, shout out to Macklin Celebrini recording his first hat trick of his NHL career.
Most definitely, and we said it yesterday. What is this also going to mean to the peripheral fantasy pieces around them? How about Frederick? I was going to say Johnny Gaudreau, rest in peace. Freddie Gaudreau, 1 assist. Johansson, a goal. Zuccarello, 3 assists, 4 shots on net. Marcus Foligno, 2 assists. We said with the
I think it's Faber's first goal in a while too.
Boom, bap. So go out there and get yourself a piece of this Minnesota Wild action. Defensively, that was obviously not something you want to see. However, the juice, the energy, they're pushing for that playoff. You know it's coming. These are all angles that if you are still scratching and clawing in the fantasy realm and you're looking to get those last little bit of offensive points, we said it yesterday and we'll say it again today. The Minnesota Wild are your team to go after. We'll go after a few more teams. After the break, the Canes, Devs, and what's going on in that Atlantic division. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are almost here. FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. And right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you get $250 in bonus bets if that bet hits. You know you got to be getting in on the action on FanDuel. Steele and I are hitting those same game parlays every single night. Stay tuned to bets at the end of today's episode. After the games tip off, you can even get in on prop bets on the same game live parlay for your chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com today and claim your $250 in bonus bets.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to smash that subscribe button, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate all that love and support you show us Monday through Friday. Eastern Conference playoff picture. There's still a lot on the line right now for the Montreal Canadiens, Ottawa Senators. The Atlantic Division's crazy. We already have our first matchup locked in. Carolina Hurricanes are facing the New Jersey Devils in the first round. Other than that, it's still up in the air right now with who's playing who in the Eastern Conference. It's that tight. Let's start with that. Then we'll get to the Maple Leafs and their best potential matchup in the first round. But how do you feel about this New Jersey team without Jack Hughes, without Dougie Hamilton in the lineup? Because I never like to say it's impossible. Like there's always a chance that an underdog team can come out of it. I'm giving the Devils like a 1% chance right now of winning this series. If they don't have Jack Hughes, they don't have Dougie Hamilton. You're putting a lot of pressure on guys like Luke Hughes, Dylan on the back end, Pesci. Like to me, maybe 1% is a little too low. I'll give them 5%, but I just don't see it without their best defenseman and their best forward.
I totally hear you, Steele. I 100% hear you. But there's one thing to be said about this Carolina Hurricanes team is, yeah, they're tough to play against. And yeah, the regular season is one thing. We know they can't get it done in the postseason. And I'm not saying first round situations like the Toronto Maple Leafs, but look, these teams split the season series this year, an even 2-piece each. What concerns me here for the Carolina Hurricanes, and this is where I am actually going to give the edge to Jacob Markstrom in the cage. And I know the numbers don't favor him this year. 26, 15, and 6, 2.53 goals against, and an .899 save percentage. You'd probably lean to Freddie's experience perhaps in the postseason, but Freddie has also been good. 13, 6-0 with a 2.11 goals against. Kochetkov and Freddie have been splitting. I don't know what Rob Brind'Amour wants to do in the cage, and to me, that leaves a very big question mark. Sebastian Aho leads Carolina with 70 points. Seth Jarvis has 61. I'm going to give the edge to the New Jersey Devils, for me at least, in terms of who I think could steal a series right now with Jacob Markstrom. When it comes down to these two teams, though, Steele, and this is what I think I want to leave it at with this, I don't see either of them being nearly good enough to rock with the best teams in the Eastern Conference, let alone the West. So I don't know. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be good hockey. I understand where you're coming from. But when it comes down to it, I still like Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier on a great year. You got Jack Hughes, I know is out, but Luke Hughes has been playing great hockey. I just don't want to count out the Devils just yet. That's just me. I think if I'm going to throw out an early prediction, and you and I are going to predict every single series, game by game, X factors, and all of that, give me Devils in 7 for the spice. That's my prediction. I think this is going to be a lot closer than people are saying.
Wow. I love the spice here. Love the spice here. Again, if you're, tune in all next week. We're going to be breaking down our playoff predictions. We're going to have to do a Stanley Cup bracket as well. I want to talk to you about that after this episode. But yeah, I understand again where you're coming from. I actually am going to give the edge to Frederik Andersen. I think if he is healthy, if he's 100% healthy, I think he is the better goaltender over Jacob Markstrom.
He's been pretty good.
I think defensively as well, he has the better group in front of
for
him.
sure.
And right now, I want to say the team's mostly healthy at this point. I know Svechnikov's been dealing with injuries at time. I will say Jesper Bratt could be that significant piece to take the Devils over the edge. The fact that he has 88 points and we've barely talked about it, and I haven't seen a lot of people talking about Jesper Bratt in the season he's had this year.
Steele. Great point.
88 points is absolutely insane without Jack Hughes for 16 of them. Nico Hischier has been scoring goals left, right, and center. He only has 67 points. 88 points for Jesper Bratt. Is it time that we should classify him as like a star in the league? Is he there now? Has he finally just been like, look, I'm the guy in New Jersey. It's not just Jack Hughes. It's not Nico. It's also Jesper Bratt, because he's been absolutely phenomenal offensively.
I say yes, and that throws a little wrinkle in my cap for why I think this New Jersey Devils team is going to make some noise against the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll break it all down in more depth. Just needed to mention it. We're keeping you guys up to date with every single major bit of NHL news as much as we possibly can. 30 minutes in or out every single day. There'll be a Saturday special this week for you guys. Don't you worry. So we have all of the weekend bets covered, Steele. Here we go. I'm going to take a deep breath here. The Toronto Maple Leafs are our team that we try and come on here. And I think, honestly, considering how much I seriously do love this team and I die hard with them, I bleed blue. You guys can see what's behind me if you're on YouTube. If you're not, by the way, smash that subscribe button. The Toronto Maple Leafs have 100 points. The Toronto Maple Leafs, other than Alex Ovechkin, clear cut have the best goal scorer in the NHL. Everybody knows the blue line is one of the best that we've seen in a very long time, and the goaltending is improved. So why not this year? But that's not what we're talking about right now. We can talk more about that on another episode. Tampa Bay, Florida, Ottawa. To me, on paper, it would go Tampa Bay. We beat them 4 times. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I should say, beat them 4 times this season. The other 2 teams, it's not so pretty, but I'll put it down now. I want the Ottawa Senators, Steele. I want them. And not only because I want to beat them so badly, why would we want a battle-tested pair of teams in the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning that are also rocking with, and I know Linus Ullmark is Linus Ullmark, I'm going to take him over those 3 goaltenders all day. I don't want Vasilevsky. I definitely don't want Bobrovsky. Not only are those 2 teams battle-tested, they got cups, they got banners in the rafters, and the Ottawa Senators do not. This Leafs team, say what you will about them, they now have a ton of experience under their caps. So let me leave it at this, and I'll turn it over to you. It's got to be the Ottawa Senators. And I know that they've taken it to the Leafs in the regular season over the last couple of years. This season as well. I don't think those games are actually as clear-cut as what the scores will indicate. The Leafs were a lot closer in most of them. And, yeah, it's Ottawa for me. Before I get too heated, I'm going to leave it at that and turn it over to you for some balance here.
Are the Montreal Canadiens still an option? Can I pick them? Because that could be a very good first-round series as well. If I'm going up against a goaltender, I want Sam Montembeault out of any 4 of the other 4 teams.
I hope I'm making sense, though.
You are making sense out there, because if it's not Montreal, it's obviously got to be the Ottawa Senators. And even though, like you said, the season series over the Tampa Bay Lightning, we took all 4. Matthew Nyes completely owns the Lightning at this point. He's been incredible. Why would you want to go up against Sergei Bobrovsky or Andrei Vasilevsky in the first round? Why would you want to go up against Nikita Kucherov or Alexander Barkov or Sam Reinhart?
No.
You don't want to.
No.
Those guys have been established. Those are 2 Stanley Cup champion teams in the last 5 years.
Thank you.
The Ottawa Senators, first time in the playoffs first time in the playoffs since 2017. They don't have a lot of experience in the postseason. Obviously, when you're going up against guys like Brady Tkachuk, that could be a huge X factor.
He's banged up, though, Steele. He's
banged up right now. He is banged up, so that's a positive for Toronto as well.
Yep.
Even though I believe, the Maple Leafs lost the season series against Ottawa this year. Like you said, it's not indicative of what the actual games played out to be like. And the fact that you have Nylander, who's completely evolved his game both offensively and defensively. You have Austin Matthews, who's been battling through injury, but still since the Four Nations face-off, he's been pretty good in the offensive zone. It's not just goal scoring. He's playmaking too. He's being creative behind the net. He's finding those seams in the offensive zone. John Tavares is top 2 in goals since the Four Nations face-off as well. And Mitch Marner, the guy's almost at 100 points. He's heard all the noise in the offseason about how his playoffs were last year and obviously the contract negotiations. He's heard a lot of noise this year. He's looking for a big payday from Toronto. If he wants it, he's got to ball out in that first round. So I'm with you. It's got to be the Ottawa Senators. Linus Ullmark is the goaltender I'd like to face. I like Ullmark as well. I think he's a great goaltender fantasy-wise in the league. But if it's anyone, it's got to be Ullmark. Let's get to big-time bets after the break. 5 games on the schedule to start the weekend on Friday. That's coming up next. But first, this episode is also brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute MLB showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA matchup. But finding great seats at a great price, that used to be a challenge until we found Game Time. Game Time makes scoring last-minute tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as the event gets closer. And with their all-in pricing, you see the total cost up front. No surprises at checkout. Here's why we love Game Time. The last-minute deals, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concert, comedy, and theater events with seat views before you buy. No surprise fees, and a lowest price guarantee you can book with total confidence. Their lowest price is guaranteed, meaning I never have to worry about overpaying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And once again, thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to smash that subscribe button, the follow button. Leave a 5-star review for your boys, Flip Livingstone and Steele Rodin. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers. It would mean the world if we could get
We're getting there.
Help us out. We're getting there. We're inching closer and closer every day, but help us get over that hump. 5 games on the schedule. Flip, over to you, my friend. How you feeling for Friday?
Bit of a tricky board, I won't lie. That makes me want to just spit out these picks fast. We are going to be back with a full Saturday slate of bets, so I'm going to dial it back a little bit and quickly steal Detroit into Tampa Bay. This has got to be a situation where I'm riding with the Bolts all day long. I know Detroit has a 6-4-0 record in their last 10 against Tampa Bay. Their goose is cooked. And Tampa Bay, I know that they've actually only won 1 game of their last 4, but they've been in all of them. So hit me with Tampa Bay, a really good home team on the money line. Braden point, anytime point. It hit for me the other night, and I especially love it because in 37 regular season games against Detroit, 36 regular season points for Braden Point. That's not my lock of the night, though. Connor McDavid returned to Edmonton's lineup with a vengeance. 3 assists, big-time difference maker, and he has that look in his eye, Steele. It's go time for 97, and that's a problem. For the Western Conference, I know you've said what you've said about Nathan MacKinnon and the fantasy angle, and he's the number 1 guy. I'm not going to disagree with you. However, in terms of game-changing talent, those two are 1A, 1B, and we could argue all day in terms of what that is. When he's looking like that, I want a piece of it every single night. The San Jose Sharks also, enough said. Connor McDavid, 2+ points is my lock of the night in his career against the Sharks in 31 games, 46 career regular season points. McJesus, 2+ points. Steele, that's your fault. Give me McJesus, 2+
Don't blame
points.
me.
And that is my lock of the night.
Loving the player props, especially the Braden Point one. I was so pissed in that game against the Lightning with the Maple Leafs when the refs broke up the fight between Point and Bobby McMahon in front of the net. I was like, let him go. You never see Point scrapping like that. So yeah. I wish they dropped the gloves and actually went at it, but love the player props there. I got
Thank
one
you.
for you as well. Number 1, Cole Caulfield, anytime goal against the Ottawa Senators. He's got 3 goals in his last 4 games, 10 goals in 13 games against Ottawa. He loves playing within the division. Montreal and Ottawa also over 5.5 in this matchup.
Spicy.
Taking the over. I believe 6 of the last 10 have gone over 5.5. So it is a little bit spicy, but I'm comfortable with the goal scoring ability.
Should be a
between
great
the 2
game.
teams. Going to be a really good game with 2 teams in that wild card spot. And lastly, final pick of the night. This one is brought to you by my girlfriend. I let her choose one of my picks for Friday. She's going with the Penguins on the money line against your Devils here.
Lock.
Penguins money line for the for my last pick. Lock of the night though. Cole Caulfield anytime goal.
Hey, shout out to the misses. Hey, shout out to all the misses out there for holding us down, Steele. It's not
Yes,
easy
sir.
being the wife or a partner or a girlfriend of a degenerate. So why not jump in? Let's get it. I'm ready for the playoffs. I'm ready for a Saturday special as well. We're here all the way until that cup gets lifted, baby. Tap into the pod.
Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Pod your first listen every single day. For your second, make sure you check out the Locked On NHL podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. From your boys here, Flip Livingstone and Steele Rodin, we wish you good luck with those bets over the weekend, and we shall see you back here again for a Saturday Special.
Peace.